Hello and welcome from Mexico City, where the teams are getting ready for today's practice session here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here for episode number 39 of this F1 2019 career mode journey. If this is your first time on my channel, please start again and come back in about two weeks time. Oh, I don't know, however long it takes to get to this point. But welcome, guys, to Season 2 of career mode. Yeah, you don't want to be starting at this point because I will spoil what's happened, but basically we're in a big championship fight at the moment. Just one singular point separates me from Charles Leclerc. Lucas Weber in the Haas, former F2 driver and teammate, is well and truly on the charge and is looking likely to get in amongst this championship fight. So it's down to us really to, carry the fight, continue to, score points and do what we can with the package that we've got. But Ricardo absolutely flying in practice, so that tells me that the car is, I don't know, at least somewhat competitive at this racetrack, which is encouraging to see. We went for a front downforce upgrade heading into this race. Didn't work. So again, we have no improvement. We have no upgrades heading into this race, and I can't remember if I showed it on screen or not, but Williams have shot to being the best car now. So I'm hoping that they can take some points off of Lucas Weber and Nico Hülkenberg and kind of reduce the pressure on me and hope that they can carry the torch and fill out the podium. Really, that's what I'm really hoping for if we're not up there to challenge for the win. But yeah, that's where we're standing at the moment. We need to get some momentum back at the moment because I feel like we're starting to lose it. So heading into qualifying, let's see if we can be up there.
Welcome back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's a circuit that has a huge amount of history, and I'm sure we'll be staging a fantastic qualifying session today.
We don't think you'll have any trouble getting into the next session, so don't push too hard.
Hey, we'll try not to. We'll hopefully get through this session with just one set of tyres. That will be the goal, I think. I feel like we've still got the pace to get out of Q1, but these days it's getting a little bit more tricky. Everyone is getting faster. They're optimizing their packages. Like I said, we haven't done too much improving of the car. We've been, working on, the departments actually behind the scenes to make them more efficient so that we can get upgrades easier. But yeah, the downforce upgrade that we put on, or we were supposed to put on today, was the first one we've kind of done in a little while, and unfortunately it is not going on the car. So that is quite disappointing. But this is a track around here in Mexico where I feel like I'm quite strong at. So I'm hoping we can somewhat bridge the gap than what we have, more than what we have in previous episodes. But so far in Q1, we're languishing down a little bit in P13. Lucas occupying top spot in qualifying at the moment. We go purple to the middle sector, which seems to be, the way it kind of goes, it seems, from track to track. We seem to be very good downforce-wise through medium and high-speed corners, but when it comes to, like, low speed, I think, and just technical sections of tracks, typically third sectors of most places, we seem to be very slow, and this place is no exception. We seem to be very slow through the stadium section, and I really don't know what I can do to mitigate this. Like, I've gone down the path of increasing downforce. I don't know, it's going to help to some degree, but there's something in the chassis that I feel like might be missing in terms of upgrades, or maybe it's suspension, like in the setup, or maybe it's just that the AI are unnaturally fast, or unintentionally that fast by the coding. I don't know, but it's a problem we need to overcome if we want to have a chance of winning this title in this season. We move on to Q2, and we just squeezed through in the final spots. Same too with my teammate. My teammate gets the final spot. I got P9, so I should have paid a bit more attention there. But yeah, what was looking like a very competitive weekend, at least in practice, with Ricardo topping FP1. We only just squeezed through to the final part of qualifying. We end our last run here, last lap of the session, and we pulled up to Nico Hülkenberg, which is interesting considering that the Haas is one of the best packages in the field now, and we actually follow him through the third sector. He's on a flying lap, and the AI is supposed to be ridiculous through here. They're supposed to be half a second faster than me, but literally I did not really see that half a second improvement there for Hulkenberg. So it's just a bit puzzled, really. He didn't look overly fast through there. Like, he seemed about the same, maybe even slightly faster than me. So it was interesting that he still went faster again in the third sector than what I managed by a few tenths. So yeah, I don't know. Something we do need to work on long term. Not only with this car, but even if we switch to another team, I feel like this might be a setup issue or a driving style issue. It will be something I need to work on. But anyway, enough about that. We're inside the top 10 for the start of the race. Hopefully we can continue to move forward like we always have in the races. We've got a good package. We've got some tyre wear upgrades, which should hopefully give us a bit of flexibility in the race, with it being maybe possible to do a one-stop, or if we do a two-stop, we can hopefully get away with using the two softest compounds, whereas others might have to use hards at some point. So hopefully there's some kind of advantage that can froth up there. But heading into the race, only a handful of ones to go now after this one. Every single point is crucial. So let's see if we can get a top 5, or better yet, maybe even a podium.
The air may be thin here in Mexico City. The atmosphere is anything but. The crowd have been chanting and singing, not just this afternoon, but throughout the entire weekend. There's a great love for Formula One here, and no small amount of expectation. Let's hope today's Grand Prix can meet it. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. They must be starting to feel the pressure at this point, Ant. Surely. There's a real shot at the title on the cards here, but one error at the wrong time, well, that could throw it all away.
True enough, but that pressure goes both ways. A failure or a mistake at this point could spell the end of their championship hopes, but they know their rivals are in exactly the same situation. Let's just hope the title is decided in the purest of ways.
Not a great starting position for us, but hopefully we can improve the situation throughout the race.
It's not the end of the world. We're still in the top 10, so there's still good potential to move up there. But welcome, guys, to the grid of the Mexican Grand Prix. What was I about to say? Leave it in the comments. I think it's pretty obvious, but anyway, here we are for the race. Two-stop, of course. Looks like we can go from the soft to the mediums twice. I'm just having a look to see if the one-stop is viable. Doesn't look like it. 6 seconds slower if we go down that route, so let's avoid that if we can. I believe last season we had some real struggles around here. Like, I think it was tire temps, or no, it was an imbalance with the downforce levels, which meant I was overheating the tires and not looking after them at all. But I've got to say, tire temps have not been an issue this weekend, so that is at least encouraging to see that we might potentially be able to push a little bit more naturally this season. So let's hope for a good strategy. Let's hope for a good start. I really need to get a leg up over Charles Leclerc, get a couple of points over him. It's going to be very unlikely that we're going to beat Lucas Weber today, barring any issues. So if I can just be, clear by Leclerc by a few points, at least I'll be happy with that. 5 red lights and away we go for this Mexican Grand Prix. Looks like an okay start. Hamilton starting behind us gets off to an absolute fly. You can see he soars past us on the run into turn 1. Unfortunately, a very, very long run into turn 1. So it means that when you get a bad start, you can lose a lot of ground and a lot of places, which unfortunately we have done. Here we go side by side with our former, and I mean this, former championship rival. I think Hamilton and Mercedes have little to no chance now of getting back in this fight. But we get past them once again, back into P9. The two Williams squabbling away here for P7 in this race. Very surprising to see them so far down the order as we get squeezed by Raikkonen into the middle sector. Had to take to cutting the corner really to not take him out really, and we've been done for that, unfortunately. We checked the race director and we got 2 warnings for that. So that was a little double apexed corner. We got 1 warning for the first corner cut, but it's still technically kind of 1 corner, but the game has given us 2 warnings for basically 1 corner. So what this means is for the next 34 laps of this Mexican Grand Prix, we cannot afford to track extend to corner cut at all. Otherwise, that will result in a 3-second time penalty, and with strict corner cutting rules on, it is nigh on impossible to get away with not corner cutting, at least at some stage, with such a long way to go. We can see Leclerc desperately diving back up our inside to get the position back. We actually overtook him on the last lap while I was complaining about penalties. But there you go. We are through. So, yeah, that's one championship rival dealt with for the time being. I think if things finish as they are at the moment, we'll lead the championship by just 3 points. But Luke's Weber will claw us in by a mammoth amount of points. He's currently, I think, 23 points away from the lead of the championship, and with 25 points against his name at the moment, he'd be the best part of maybe 5 or 6 points away maximum as we dive up the inside of Kimi Räikkönen into the middle sector. I had to go very, very late to outbreak him there, but we get the job done, and we are through for P7, I think, in this Mexican Grand Prix. Now, this is another area where I seem to be struggling a little bit as well, is the braking performance in my car. I had to really go in late in order to actually outbrake him. So the brakes will be an area we need to upgrade, but it's fallen a little bit low down on the priority list because, yes, we do seem to be lacking in terms of other areas like low speed, grip or mechanical grip. I don't know. I still feel like downforce could be a little bit better. But yeah, it's a tricky one. There's still so many areas I feel like we can work on. But we're a fast car, but we still have a lot of areas to work on, is what I'm trying to say. Hamilton goes back up the inside into turn 1. So this battle for P7, P8 in this Grand Prix is well and truly not over, as the fight continues. They're getting a little bit frustrated there and having to battle away with these guys. I want to make more progress. I want to get closer to my teammate. I want to see if I can get in the top 5 and put some pressure back on to Weber's shoulders. But at the moment, he's just running away with his Grand Prix and having an easy time of things at this stage. Again, it seems like we might be struggling on the soft compound tyre, so it might be a case of getting off these tyres early, getting onto mediums, and then hopefully having a more comfortable run to the flag for this Grand Prix. We're right on board with our teammate who is attacking, who is Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. He tries to have a go at the inside. It's not really going to work there. He's compromised Bottas's exit, so he might be half a chance to attack him either up the inside or around the outside into the middle sector. He opts for the outside. If he can make this work, he'll have the inside for the next right-hander, and he's done that pretty well. He moves up into P4, I think. P5. Nah. 1, 2, 3, 4. He moves into P5. Quick maths from Benjamin Daly here. Lap 8. We're again still trying to chase after Kimi Räikkönen. Very interesting that the Williams is the second best car, but they seem to be down and out in this Grand Prix a little bit. I think one of them had grid penalties, so that kind of spells why they're kind of nowhere in this race so far. But Hamilton again coming back at us on the start-finish straight. Mercedes has made some improvements lately, but I really feel like they're only being kept in the game because I'm getting tangled up with Räikkönen and he's got DRS and slipstream off of me. If it was down to just natural pace, the Mercedes would not be in this fight. But anyway, lap 10. It's time to get off these tyres. We're onto mediums now, and hopefully we can have a much easier time in this Grand Prix. Seems like we're one of the first in the race to respond, which puts us down to last. We'll have some clear air, so...
Are you alright there? Don't worry about the mistake, just focus on the rest of the race. Okay, you only have to stop one. Got that confirmed?
Mistake? What mistake did I make? Making a pit stop is not a mistake. Yes, I lost a lot of positions, but Jeff, you should know this by now, that making a pit stop does throw away some positions, but you'll get them back later. Don't worry, don't stress. We're fine. Trust me, we're fine. We'll be okay. But we switch on to the mediums, and yeah, straight away I was like, wow, this is revolutionary. Car has not felt this good almost all weekend. So there is something at play. This car does not like soft compound tires. It might even be worth not making it into Q3 as a legitimate strategy going forward, so we can start on mediums and maybe go to hards and make the one-stop work. But yeah, it's very risky to give away track position just for the sake of strategy. I don't know, if things get desperate, we may look at that, but I still feel like being at the front, controlling the pace, and being in the mix with the championship rivals is the best way to go. But like I said, if we get desperate, the option is always there. Speaking of desperate, here goes Raikkonen. Trying to go the inside in turn 1, couldn't quite make that stick, and we are back through for, I think, P7. So we did perfect the undercut. It got us back in the battle with the Williams, essentially, and now we can hopefully get stuck in with this next group of cars. Pierre Gasly and Hulkenberg fighting away. Got squeezed off by one of the Alphas, so I really appreciate that. We got the inside of them into the stadium section, and that is P6 for the taking. I think Pierre Gasly has damage. I feel like he's the cork in the bottle here that's really holding everyone up. So as soon as we can clear him, we can set after the leaders, hopefully. Hulkenberg and Perez very slow through turn 1. Just trying to pick my way through as best I can. We'll do the under and over. Hulkenberg giving us a bit of a squeeze. I wasn't giving him much space either, to be fair. We're going to go around the outside now as we head into the middle sector. And this is a smart play because we get the inside for the next right-hander. Ricciardo did it earlier. We're learning from him, and we do the exact same thing. P5. And our chances of getting a podium today have just increased by virtue of the undercut getting us into this battle. We may struggle for tyres later, but overall, we just seem to be so much more comfortable on this compound that I think it's just bridging the difference. The fact that we have older tyres doesn't really matter. The sacrifice of getting onto these earlier, I think, is worth it. But meanwhile, Lucas absolutely dominating up front. Ricciardo has now got himself up into P2. So I think Ricciardo stayed out relatively long, overcut some guys around him, got himself out of this fight, and has put himself in a good position in this race, which is nice to see. But meanwhile, we're still trying to get past the stricken Gasly. I don't know. He seems slow, but he's not holding us up massively by any means. We get past him anyway, and we now move up into P4. We've got a penalty. A penalty for corner cutting. There we go. I couldn't hold back any longer. I tried to increase the pace, and as a result, the third warning of the race came, and that is a 3-second time penalty for us in this race. So in order for us to maintain P4, we need to beat Bottas by the best part of 3 seconds, which on older tyres, on a car that is relatively slower or the same speed, it is going to be difficult to pull off that kind of margin towards the end of this race, which is unfortunate. But here we are for the final stop of the race, onto medium tyres again. Very good stint from us. We established ourselves well inside the top 5, and I've got good feelings about the back end of this race, because as the fuel load comes off, I feel like we're only getting stronger, which is nice to see. Tyre wear and tyre temperatures becomes even less of a hassle because there's less energy going through the tyres because the car is lighter. Yeah, tyre temps really get raised a lot at the start of the race because the car is so much heavier and it's moving around a whole lot more, but it's getting a lot better. A bit of cloud cover as well, which is certainly helping the tyre temps today. But meanwhile, back on the circuit, you can see we're putting in some pretty good sectors here. Purple to the middle, and in the third sector, it was pretty handy too. We go fastest there with a 1 minute 14.8. We've got a yellow flag up ahead, one of the Ferraris. It is Charles Leclerc, who is second in the driver's standings, only a singular point behind me in the championship, and he is out of this Mexican Grand Prix, and that could be his championship over.
Daniel is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 3.8 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:15.3. You're falling back by 1/10 a lap.
Championship over, potentially, for Charles Leclerc. Depending on where I finish. If I don't get a podium, the points difference may not be as drastic as what you think, but we're still going to do our best to climb up there as best we can. It's P4 for us now. Still finding away with the Williams today in this race. Ricciardo is finding away with Sergio Perez for P2. It's toing and throwing every single lap. They're kind of slipstreaming each other, which is really helping them out. But the pace when we were both in clear air was very, very similar. Ricciardo has just had better consistency, maybe a better strategy by staying out longer. He does have fresher tyres at this stage. We have another retirement in this race. This is Valtteri Bottas in the Alpha. He's not had good luck since returning to this team, or going to this team, sorry. He's had good pace, but he hasn't been able to get the end result that he's after at this new team. Anyway, last lap of the Grand Prix. Lucas Weber, again, is going to run away with this one. Again, cuts into the championship lead by, I don't know, 15 points. Possibly even more if he gets the fastest lap, which I think he has at the moment. But another win for him. A huge amount of momentum in his corner. We can only muster P4 at the moment. With our 3-second time penalty, we may lose out to Raikkonen. The gap is 3.09 seconds. So I need a good final end to the lap, and that should hopefully be P4. 12 points.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
God's sake. That's not what I needed.
Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
The quality and fantastic result of the Haas team will have been noticed by everyone else out there today. You can see why everyone's taking them so seriously. These drivers will be hot property by the end of the season.
Ah, man. Weber gets another win. I don't know how many this is for his season now. It's got to be win number 4 or 5, potentially. Ricciardo has rejuvenated his season since Japan in the last episode. He's really lifted a gear. I haven't played with the difficulty level at all, and he's right up there again. I can't really put it down to anything. It's quite weird. This race was actually filmed before the most recent patch 1.07 has gone out, so it's not that either. So Ricciardo getting a good result, and as such, something in the code has given him more confidence. But the championship gap is 8 points. Just 8 points between us and Lucas Weber. At the start of this episode, it was 23 points. So, with that, Lucas will get the lead of the championship in the next race. If he wins, and I don't get on the podium, there's still 2 or 3 races left to go in this championship. And I don't want to be negative, but there is a lot of momentum in Lucas's corner at the moment. Haas might even be able to win the Constructors if they keep up, but it's a very scary prospect. We need to upgrade the car now. We can't afford any more, failures in terms of upgrades. We had the front downforce upgrade fail today. Please, just this time, let's have a clean run and head into the US Grand Prix with at least something we can fight with. So let's see what the damage is in terms of resource points. We've got 1,415 to spend today. Now, we could go and amend the front downforce upgrade that I was looking for at the start of this episode, but heading into COTA, it doesn't make sense to go for downforce because it's not a downforce heavy circuit like Mexico was today. So what I'm going to target is I'm going to go for the major engine power upgrade for Brazil. Brazil is a power circuit, and I feel like that would certainly help the package of our car. And even if we do have to run more downforce, we will have the major power upgrade to offset that. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. If we go for the major power upgrade, that'll go on the car in time for Brazil. In the next race at USA, I can still work on the car in the aero department to hopefully have the front and the rear minor upgrades for downforce go on the car for Brazil. So hopefully we can do some kind of damage limitation heading into USA. We won't have any upgrades heading into the next race. But then we bring an amazing package into into Brazil, and we take the fight to Haas there. We just need to hope that we can get on the podium or get somewhere close, or just hope that, I don't know, some other team can take points off of Lucas Weber in the next race, and then from there, in the final 2 races of the season, really take the fight to Haas. That's what I'm hoping for. It's a big risk to potentially sacrifice the next race's results, but I'm hoping that it'll mean we're on somewhat equal pegging with Haas in the final race or 2. So that's what I have to go for. We're running out of options, and just doing minor upgrades to downforce now will not make up the difference. This is my only play, I think. But there we go, guys. That has been this episode of Career Mode today. 8 points is the difference between myself and Lucas Weber. We still have the Ferraris in contention. Lewis Hamilton. Don't think he's going to win. So I think it's a 2-horse race for this championship fight, with the Ferraris being a very outside chance of maybe getting this one. They need to upgrade their car too. I'm hoping Williams bring a big upgrade and can help us and take points off of Haas, but there's still a lot that can happen in this championship. I just pray that Haas haven't got more upgrades lined up. Otherwise, we're done. But that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. I can't wait to see how the season ends. Hopefully, it ends with us on top. We'll see. Until the next one, guys. I'll see you next time.